Hola, 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 amigos. Este es el Medianoche Skeptico. Okay, that is the beginning of my Spanish language uh, introduction to this broadcast. So, hello again this week. As usual, my goal in even doing this is to relieve my own anxieties, to get whatever little bit of anger is in there out. I go by the Dalai Lama's admonition that anger is the greatest destroyer of your own peace of mind. So I think that for the most part, over the last, say 20 years, I've not built up any real anger about anything. Even the orange sociopathic bloat bag's victory a couple of weeks ago, I'm disappointed, of course, even a bit sad, but I'm not angry. So, this is being recorded on Thursday, the 21st of November. Next week is Thanksgiving week. All the schools are out. And I have a new tutoring student, of all things. And she's a fifth grader at a local school, struggling with math. And that's all I will say about it. But I'm glad to kind of get back into the tutoring thing once again. Okay. I've been doing this program in one form or another for about 7 years with Petaluma Community Access. They used to have their studios on the campus of Casa Grande High School here in Petaluma. And my son and my son went to Casa Grande way back when. I won't say the actual date of his graduation, but he dropped out of high school in his junior year and took the state of California equivalency exam, which he passed very easily, and got his high school diploma from the state of California. And since then, I've helped, 2 or 3 other students over these 35 years that I've been doing private tutoring. These 2 or 3 students also took the state of California equivalency exam. Okay, enough of that. But the tutoring was what I really enjoyed doing. And fortunately, for most of the 35 years that I was doing the private tutoring, I had a paycheck and benefits job that allowed me to have late afternoons and early evenings off for me to do the tutoring. Okay. And, the orange sociopathic bloat bag's first victory over Hillary Clinton in 2016 was the first hints that there was something kind of wrong with this country, with about more or less 40% of the populace in this country who would even want a creep like that to be the president of the United States. Fortunately, in his term in office from 2017 to 2021, he more or less had guardrails to prevent him from doing some of his more outlandish things that he set out to do. Well, okay, cut ahead through the Biden administration and this last election. the 2024 election, which he won yet again over Kamala Harris, who was infinitely more qualified to be our president than he will ever dream of being. In fact, most of his hardened followers love the fact that he's not qualified. They're kind of, let's say, eager to just burn the system down because they, for whatever reason, haven't thrived in our government, our economic government here in the United States. And the Republicans and the MAGA heads and the conservatives, which are not the classic definition of conservatives, seized upon this discontent amongst this 35 to 40% of the American electorate and exploited their discontent. And not enough people in this country who vote. There's a lot of people that just did not vote this time, but a lot of the people that did vote just didn't realize the benefits of having Kamala Harris as our president. And they just didn't know her, come to know her. But it's our loss. And so, given all that, I'm going to play my play-in music now for you to get ready for another edition of The Midnight Skeptic. You are listening to KPCA LP, Petaluma, California, at 103.3 FM and worldwide at www.kpca.fm. And this is The Midnight Skeptic. The views of The Midnight Skeptic are not, repeat, not necessarily the views of KPCA or any of its affiliates. Okay, I'm going to try to use more of the sound effects for this broadcast because my audio-visual engineer set them up for me on my keyboard here. All I have to do is just punch a number to get, clapping or laughter or the slide whistle or the do-do-do sound effects. So I got to really use them. And I'm going to have good news and bad news on this broadcast. And so here we go with the shout outs. And first, and I always lead off with this until, further notice, I guess. Project Censored. Go to their website, projectcensored.org, all one word, and sign up for their newsletter. It's free. They encourage donations to Project Censored, but in addition to their newsletter, they publish a book once a year, The State of the Free Press, and then whatever year it is. Right now, the 2024 is available. The 2025 is almost ready to be released from the printers. And if you want a signed copy of The State of the Free Press 2025, go to their website and order it up. I think Mickey Huff will sign it, or one of the three guys, in addition to Mickey. Nolan Higdon, who was a history professor down at Cal State East Bay down in Hayward, and Andy Lee Roth, who's a history professor over at UC Santa Cruz. Beautiful campus over there. I can see why he loves it over there. Okay. Um, it's about 4 o'clock now on the 21st of November. Okay. I think I might have said that already, but so what? And Mickey Huff just got a good deal. He is the distinguished something or other over at, okay, well, where was it? Distinguished at Ithaca College. He's distinguished something or other of independent media, okay? And Ithaca is in upstate New York. Same town Cornell is in. What a college town. I've never been there. I've been back to New York a number of times, but never upstate New York. I'd like to do that sometime. Okay, all right. Tom Gaffey at the Phoenix Theater. Back in the early 2000s, I and my wife set up a tutoring center inside the Phoenix Theater to bring tutoring to the alternative teens that tended to hang out there after school. You know, it gets out about 3:30 or 4, and the Phoenix Theater, quite a while back, cleared out the seating in the lower level and installed skateboard ramps. So that's where they hang out, and there's some games in the upper area of the Phoenix Theater, and Tom Gaffey acts as kind of a mentor slash godfather slash therapist to a lot of these alternative teens, as did I. In my 35 years of private tutoring, there were a number of, I guess you could call them, troubled teens, or finding themselves teens, or difficulties with parents, teens, that I know that they have troubles that they didn't tell their parents about, but they told me. And I have a master's degree in clinical psychology that I got way back in 1979 from John F. Kennedy University, which used to have a campus over in Pleasant Hill, across in the East Bay. They've shut down about 11 or 12 years ago. And I think, I'm not sure about this, but they had a second campus down in the LA area somewhere. It may still be going, I don't know. But anyway, so I use that and my friendliness to younger people and non-critical talking to them, and they opened up to me, and which I am thankful for, and it brings a warm feeling deep down inside when they trust me enough to open up. Okay, enough of that. Rabbi Ted Feldman, he's retired now, but the rabbi at B'nai Israel here in Petaluma, my wife and I, she was Jewish. I am not. I am not religious at all. And in fact, kind of anti-religious. Anyway, my wife and I used to go to his night classes on the history of Israel, Jewish beliefs, Zionism, which I am kind of anti-Zionist now after learning their origins and what they want now. Okay, enough of that. That's the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And there's a lot of history behind the term Palestinian and the identity of Islamic Palestinians, which kind of began in 1964. And I'll go into that at some future show. But when you said Palestinians back then, you were referring to the Jewish and Christian peoples that were there before 1948, when the State of Israel declared their independence. And the British mandate was done away with or expired or whatever. Okay. Also, Jen Gunter. She is a skeptic along with me. I am part of the skeptic community around here. And she is an OBGYN in the Kaiser Health System. And she comes out, I want to say monthly, but I think it's more often than that. Maybe every other week, but it's called, her newsletter is called The Vagenda, Vagenda. And 90% of it is information that applies to women and their gynecological problems, but some of it is applicable to anybody. And I've subscribed to it, and occasionally I've gotten some material for this show, the Midnight Skeptic. And I've I met her in passing at a couple of skeptical events, and also her book release thing, which was done at the Buck Institute down the Highway 108s. The Buck Institute researches aging and all of the things that are associated with aging. And she and a moderator there talked about her book, and I got her to sign my book. That I bought a copy of it before this event, but she signed it, and I've seen her at other skeptical events. Okay. John Crowley of the Aquas Cafe, AQUS. That's over on H and 2nd Avenue, I think. Okay, H and 2nd. Anyway, it's in the southern part of Petaluma in the Warehouse District. And I keep forgetting the name of what Petaluma calls that area. It's not the Warehouse District, even though there are a lot of warehouses over there. But anyway, John Crowley has created a community of nonprofits, artists of various stripes, writers and poets, and various ethnic styled dinners are held there. The Aquas Cafe has a very light fare, but they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, an early dinner. And it's a very nice place to hang out. They have beer and wine. And once, or actually twice a year, they host an event called Drinks with Shrinks. And all the therapists in Sonoma County come out of the woodwork and gather together to schmooze and, analyze each other. I attended the last one and had some very interesting conversations with some of them. I was hoping that a couple of the therapists that I've personally gotten to know over these 35 years would show up so we could reconnect, but no such luck. But it was a fun event anyway. And let's see, Dr. Dave Rubin. He's the world's finest lung doctor that the world has ever produced. He and I used to room together. This is before I got married. This is in 1977 and 78. And he was doing research at that time up at UC San Francisco, up at the Parnassus Heights campus. um, on endothelial cells in the lungs and the enzymes that they secrete. And he showed me the lab that he worked in once, and most of it went over my head. But anyway, he retired from that and then went to work for GlaxoSmithKline, setting up clinical studies about their new drugs and whether they worked or whether the side effects were worse than whatever they were trying to cure. And believe me, every drug has some kind of side effects. It's just weighing the good versus the bad. And most drugs have their intended effect and inconsequential side effects. Now, as long as we're on that topic a little bit, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., oh God, the orange sociopathic bloat bag is trying to get him installed as the nation's, I forget what the exact title is, but the nation's health guru, who will be in charge of the CDC, the NIH, and all of those places. And he is, let's face it, anti-science, anti... I'm having a brain freeze on the word, anti-vaccinations. I feel bad for our country. He's weird in other ways besides that, but that's certainly enough. I'll talk about him on a future show, a little bit on this show. Okay. And Dr. Dave Rubin retired from GlaxoSmithKline and is now pursuing his art career. Well, I wouldn't call it a career, but artistic retirement years, I guess. Okay. And he's showing his stuff at Split Infinity Studios. And I thought it was in Chicago, but it's actually in Raleigh-Durham. And I'm not sure whether it's his studio or an independent studio that shows his works and other artists' works. But go to davidrubinpaintings.com and check out his works. He has a very, let's say, unique take on reality. Okay. Art Kuznets, I met him through Rabbi Ted and B'nai Israel. Tim Conrad, who lives here in Petaluma, was in my class up in Sonora, and he is a great photographer, has had some of his works displayed in galleries here in Petaluma. Okay, the rest of these are friends, relatives, acquaintances who have let me know that occasionally / rarely listen in to this show and occasionally give me feedback even. And I don't have my notes about my shout outs right in front of me, but here goes. Dave and Rosie, Kevin and Lori and Katati. Rob Tomaszewski, the station manager down at Petaluma Community Access, who started off this whole KPCA -LP.FM new radio station. It's about 7 years ago. Okay, and let's see, who else in... Rich and Kathy Berger over in Sebastopol. And down in Tiburon, Dennis and Megan, over or further south in San Francisco. Yvonne and Rick, they're on vacation right now. Boy, they take a lot of vacations. Wow. And then Pacifica, Stan and Kathy Gustafson. Stan is retired city attorney of Daly City. And I knew him when he was just going through law school in the mid 70s, 1970s. Okay. Further down south in LA, Aunt Jackie and her daughter Samantha, Samantha's little boy David, and Samantha's sister Melanie, who has taken up residence in Austin, Texas. And then over to Arkansas, Shannon Reed, who is a body worker, massage therapist, and real estate person. Down to Florida, Nelson and Alice Lydell. He is a retired officer from the United States Public Health Service. By officer, they wear uniforms that are very similar to Navy uniforms. I saw a picture of him, and boy, did that bring back memories of my Navy days. He was in a uniform that was, I think, a 3-stripe on the sleeve, which would make him a commander in rank. But anyway, okay, over on they're in Sarasota, and they've been dodging hurricanes right and left. And over on the East Coast, Amelia Beamer, who is a editor, novelist, and helper to budding novelists, of which I am one, up to Long Island, Geraldine Goldfinger, and back over to the West Coast and up the hills on Highway 108 to Sonora. Robert Finnegan, and then Bob and Sandy Fisher, and their 2 offspring, Brad and Martha. Darrell Larson, who was our high school class's bronc rider and worked the local rodeo circuit, and he has the broken bones to show for it. And Judy May, Nancy, Kathy Francis, and Lynn Quayle. And then further up Highway 108 to Twain Hart, a very nice, quaint, as they say, little town, is John Gleason and his 2 daughters, Tiffany, who just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Tiffany. And Jennifer. They don't live with him in his house at Twain Hart. He has a lady partner now. And then all the way down in Mexico City, Rosamalia Lopez Negrete. And she's not a big fan of President Scheinblum of Mexico, Claudia Scheinblum. She claims that she's a communist, which she's not. She is quite lefty, which to me is a good thing. But she and the orange sociopathic bloat bag are not going to get along, I don't think, especially when the orange sociopathic bloat bag starts implementing his massive deportation movement. Okay, it'll be interesting if nothing else. Okay, so that's the shout-outs. And so I shall now get to the meat of this show. There's a phone call coming in. Okay. Uh, okay, I've got to answer this. Yo, Dennis. Good. Can I call you back in about an hour? Uh, yeah, I'm right in the middle of my show. No, no problem. It'll. This will become part of the show. Okay. Wait, say it louder. Okay. All right. I'll call you back in about an hour. All right. Bye bye. That was my son that just got off work, and he's pretty much as skeptical as I am, and is about as lefty as I am. Good man, and he's an IT technician for San Domenico High School. Well, it's not a high school anymore. It's just a school, K through 8 and high school. It used to be a very exclusive girls' high school down in Marin County here. But they've, for financial reasons, they've expanded themselves to K through 8 and high school, and gone co-ed, by the way. Okay, so the greatest news in a long while. In response to Elon the Creep Musk's criticism of her donations to women's causes, Mackenzie Scott has doubled down on her gifts to women's groups such as Planned Parenthood and many others. He claimed she was destroying Western civilization with her support for women and her donations. I'll tell you who's destroying Western civilization is the orange sociopathic bloat bag and Elon Musk. Okay, and kind of in that same vein, good news. Swedish millionaire Johan Eliasch, capital Eliasch, purchased 400,000 acres of the Amazon rainforest from a logging company for $14 million for the sole purpose of its preservation. Good for him. Okay. Stupid bad news. Oklahoma is almost solidly a red state, and Massachusetts is almost solidly blue. Oklahoma is 44th in education in the United States out of all the 50 states, 49th in health care, 44th in quality of life, 50th dead last in test scores, and in the top 10 states in poverty measurements. Massachusetts is first in education, second in healthcare, first in quality of life, first in test scores, in top 10 in low poverty rates. Okay, it's no coincidence that Oklahoma is controlled by MAGA-head Republicans And Massachusetts is controlled, governor and both houses of their Congress, by Democrats, probably woke Democrats. All right. Bad news. The federal government is again wasting its time investigating UFOs. I'm not going to waste any more of my time on UFOs. All right. A truth. Patriarchy and religion trains us to look at women through the wants of men so that we lose sight of what women want. And here's a choice quote from a okay, I'm going to say it online. This isn't something that I can't say, but he is a douchebag. Nick Fuentes. He is an orange sociopathic bloatbag toady and incel in chief. Okay, this is what he has posted on his, I don't know, X or Truth Social or both. Quote, your body, comma, my choice, unquote. Nick Fuentes. Hopefully he will go the way of other orange sociopathic bloatbag toadies. The sooner the better. Okay? Good news. A judge, and I'm not sure whether it's a federal or a state judge, on Monday, 11/18, struck down Wyoming's overall ban on abortion. And struck down their ban on the use of medication to end pregnancies. All right. Bad news. South Carolina Representative, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, a Republican, of course, is pushing to ban transgender women from women's restrooms at the U.S. Capitol, 2 weeks before Delaware's Representative-elect Sarah McBride, the first out transgender person in Congress, from using, the women's bathrooms. I imagine there are single-sex bathrooms in the Capitol, but Nancy Mace, who probably in her middle school and high school years was one of the Mean Girls groups, turned Republican. And this is a quote from Nancy Mace. Quote, Sarah, meaning Sarah McBride, does not belong in women's spaces, women's bathrooms, locker rooms, changing rooms, period, full stop. It's just Republicans and MAGA heads and quote-unquote conservatives are just ignorant. When they say men shouldn't be competing against our girls, it's just cruelty and meanness, which is the hallmark of the Republican Party nowadays. Okay. Bad news, yet again, for the orange sociopathic bloat bag. his clown car of cabinet nominations. Linda McMahon, nominated for Education Secretary. Oh, God. She had to resign from the Connecticut State Education Board when a Connecticut newspaper outed her, called her out for lying, which is a Republican trait, lying about her saying that she had an education degree. Well, she didn't. And the education secretary in the Orange Sociopathic Bloatbag's first term, oh man, I'm having a brain freeze again. Anyway, okay. Linda McMahon, would be every bit as bad, if not worse, than that previous lady. It is the goal of far-right conservatives and MAGA heads and Christian nationalists to destroy our public education system in this country. If that sounds extreme, it is. But if you don't believe me, then get a hold of Project 2025. It's right there. And if you listen to any of the speeches of MAGA heads in the past who want public money to go to vouchers, which in turn would go to religious education, you don't have to take my word for it. It is the goal of the Republican Party, the MAGA heads, the conservatives, and Christian nationalists to destroy our public education system in this country because they say that their teachers are too woke. They're indoctrinating our kids. They don't say what they're indoctrinating them to. I can tell you what religious schools are indoctrinating our kids to the biblical falsehoods and one type of Christianity out of all the others and all the other religions. Talk about indoctrination. That's what Republicans want, like the Ten Commandments posted in every classroom like they want in Louisiana. And believe me, there's other states that are going to follow along in that vein. Okay. Linda McMahon. We've only got 2 more months until the inauguration of the Orange Sociopathic Bloatbag. The FBI should start immediately, like last week, in vetting all of these nominations that the Orange Sociopathic Bloatbag has nominated for his cabinet. Why won't Biden direct them to start this vetting and background check process? He should. Okay. Good news. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, he's a really good man and also a billionaire. He said, okay, and I'm not sure where the speech was given. Maybe it was at the Democratic convention, but this is a quote from him. To anyone who intends to come take away the freedoms, opportunity, and dignity of Illinoisans, I would remind you that a happy warrior is still a warrior. You come for my people, you come through me. And he said that about the orange sociopathic bloat bag and his tools, like deportations and et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Horrible and dangerous news. The orange sociopathic bloat bag's pick of Tulsi Gabbard to be head of the U.S. intelligence community alarms all of them. Gabbard has no background in intelligence and has a history of making statements about countries like Russia and Syria that have raised questions about her judgment. I, the Midnight Skeptic, will do more than raise questions. I'll state emphatically that she is a pawn of Vladimir Putin, just like the OSB is. OSB is the initials of the orange sociopathic bloat bag. Some intelligence officials are privately considering whether to resign if Gabbard becomes their new boss. Come on, FBI. Do a background check on her. Okay, she has taken public policy positions that echo Russian propaganda and is an admirer of Syria's Bashar al-Assad. This is the same Bashar al-Assad who used chemical warfare in the civil war in Syria against the, independence fighters. Okay? I need another sip here. That's tea, by the way. Okay, another clown car personage is Pete Hegseth, another sex pervert member of the orange sociopathic bloat bags clown car of cabinet nominees, was nominated for Secretary of Defense. Can you believe it? He claims he was, quote, completely cleared of sexual assault charges. And he paid off the woman that he assaulted, by the way. The decision by a district attorney to not charge him is not the same thing as, quote unquote, completely cleared. He was a weekend fill-in at Fox News and a veteran of the Army National Guard. His Jerusalem cross, and I meant to look that up, it's a tattoo or a design. It's a symbol of Christian extremism. His Jerusalem cross tattoo got him removed from a detachment of National Guardsmen guarding President Biden's inauguration in 2021. He decided to leave the unit after this incident. And he is a Princeton graduate. And, that kind of lowers Princeton in my estimation. Clown car update. Today, I'm recording this show on 11/21, Thursday, and right now it's about 4:45. today, okay, Thursday, Matt Gaetz has withdrawn himself for consideration as the U.S. Attorney General. Now, the Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag can nominate Marjorie Taylor Greene to be Attorney General. Believe me, she's going to get some sort of a position in the Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag's administration. Okay, bad news. Scientific American's editor-in-chief Laura Helmuth resigned after posting on Blue Sky that the supporters of the Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag were bigoted and fascists. She's right, of course, except that she got a lot of blowback from some readers of Scientific American, and a lot of the right-wingers wrote in irate letters to Scientific American, but she's absolutely right. A lot of the supporters of the Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag are racist, homophobes, transphobes, and did I say racist? Yes. Okay, and bigots. It was probably very impolitic of her to post those feelings. I think it was on Blue Sky. But anyway, she shouldn't have done it, even though those feelings are shared by me. Okay. Good news. The election results a couple of weeks ago were not a mandate for the implementation of Trumpism or Project 2025. The popular vote is way too close to call it a mandate, unless you are an ignorant worshiper of the Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag. I am optimistic about the long-term survival of this country, although for the next 4 years we will be going through a very trying time. Take heart, people, and I, the Midnight Skeptic, will do my little part to import both bad news and good news to my thousands of listeners out there. And I will record another one of these rants next week. I'm not sure which day I'll do it, but let's see. This is going out on the 24th at 9 p.m., the usual time. And YouTube, as soon as I can download this rant to it. So, December 1st will be the next time that another rant will feed your intellects. Okay? So, here's my play out music. You have been listening to The Midnight Skeptic on KPCA LP, Petaluma, California. And we're at 103.3 on the FM dial and worldwide at www.kpca.fm. Support community radio at patreon.com/Petaluma Community Access. And remember, think critically, think logically, but live joyously, and most importantly, pet your cats. Yes. Pet your cats. It's a great stress reliever for both of you, the cat and you. Okay, I will see you guys and be ranting at you guys next week again. Take care. Bye bye.